Alright. I feel like I'm just going to start the story over because so much has already happened. So, this morning, I decided that I was going to do a little bit more work on conditioning before my big trek across the U.S. or even Montana. So I found a spot that is pretty off the beaten path. People aren't going to be back here. I hiked about 2.5 miles the whole way. It seemed like there was a dog like 20 feet behind me on the road, on the trail. Every time I turn around, I wouldn't hear the noise anymore. And I mean, you could hear dog tags, like a trot and footsteps. Never saw anything until I passed this one house that had 2 dogs outside, and they were super nice. Anyway, fast forward. I get in the vicinity of where I want to be camping out, and I found a mountain spring water source. Still going to be real careful with it because a lot of the water is exposed and it's pretty slow moving, so definitely still going to boil that. And I took a turn off of the path I was on just to get some shade. I found this nice little spot that I actually wouldn't mind setting camp up in. I'll show you. Just a nice little grotto, I guess, maybe. Inside the trees, but there's also open space right here, which is good for listening for animals because we have lots of those. But a real pretty, just kind of secluded spot, right? Start looking around. First thing I notice is these trees leaned up against the fallen tree, like somebody else was just trying to make camp there. That shouldn't be happening, first of all. But also, this may be what's considered like the start of a Sasquatch shelter. In all the theories that I've seen and read about, they like to do it that way. And this is also a place where there have been alleged sightings. So, first instinct, of course I have to stay here tonight. Plus we got all kinds of like good fire starters with all that bark that's falling off the tree. I'm not seeing much animal sign, which is great. There are things like cans and stuff over here. They're old. Oh, there's even a tire. A lighter. Ton of stuff I could actually use to survive if I needed to. It's like we got a 5-hour energy or something over there. Anyway, so humans have been here, but I'll tell you right now, that's no human shelter. A, the placement of it puts you like right in the center of all that brush to sleep on top of. That's not comfortable. B, not much is done to actually cover it up and provide like rain shelter or rain guard. You can see there's branches and stuff down around it, but not enough that was gonna do much. I'm hearing both voices and big animal steps. The animal steps are coming from this way. The voices are coming from that way. And that was a whistle. Ah, my lips are dry. Hello? They sound like they're moving closer. Both the footsteps over here and the voices over here. Yeah, whatever's over there is not small. In fact, I am going to equip myself with my pew pew, because whatever is there does not seem to mind that I'm here, despite me making noise. And that's not exactly a great sign, but we're going to keep rolling. And I'm going to get that on real quick before I do anything else. I should have had it on this whole time, but I figured I've walked down there 1,000 times. Yeah, so what? Oh, I also added more weight to my pack for my conditioning session. I don't know if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but I certainly have more luxury items now. Alright, I'm going to pause this for a sec. Okay. So, didn't expect to be stalked by anything or freaked out already. Those are some heavy footsteps. It kind of sounded like a big rock was tossed at some point. Not far or anything, but I've seen bears do that. So, I'm not trying to get super close, but close enough I can figure out what the hell's going on. Hello? Like, it should just be right through there. I see nothing. No movement. Not any noise at the second. Somebody over there? I'm not gonna hurt you, I just want to make sure I'm not shooting at a human. Well, I would say that's no human. Alright, well, didn't like that, and it is close enough to that little spring that it's probably just an animal trying to find some water. To me, I don't want to be experiencing that all through the night. So, I guess that means we're going to keep looking for another spot. But I do know where there's some good dry bark if I need it. I honestly probably shouldn't camp under that anyway. That's a widowmaker. So, it's been decided. Question is, do I want to go up the mountain more? Or do I want to stay down? I'm not excited to put that pack back on. It's pretty heavy. I guess let's go up the hill a little ways. I've got a good feeling about that. That looks pretty promising. Let me get the backpack on and stuff. Alright. Journey to the top of the hill. It looks like there's kind of a clearing up here. I'm not really sure yet. But I also like that Gives you a little more distance to see out and see what's going on. Okay. This could be both good or bad. A little more open, but not as much as I'd hope. Still a ton of brush. And a bear could hide in that pretty easy. Still hearing noises down there where I just came from. Anyway, see lots of little aspen trees and stuff in here. That's all fine. There's potential that there's some food sources in there. I'm not sure I want to get close enough to find out. Looks like we might have some fern in there, wild lavender, Indian paintbrushes. Nothing blatantly food off the bat. Well, I might see a juniper berry bush. Not certain. My eyes aren't that great, so. Some wild raspberries. So that's cool. Those ones are pretty much dried up, though. I'd eat them if I was starving. Oh. Looks like there's some more over there, too. Lucky find. But, on the downside, that also tells me if they haven't been yet, the bears will definitely be through here. So, don't want to camp too close to that. There's that big rock right there. I don't know if you can tell. Tons of moss all over it. So if I decided to build like a cabin style shelter, that's really good for filling the gaps and getting your shelter airtight. Also, if I built a shelter up against that, the heat from the fire would hold really well through the night. Something to think about. I'm not worried about heat tonight because it's still hot, late July. It is getting a little chilly at night though. It's down to like 50s. So, pretty excited about that actually. Let's see what else we can find. Nope. Can I just find another spring? That's interesting. Still looking for animal sign or, full-blown animals. This is a pretty little spot though. I like that. Still not so much for the camping part because that's going to attract all the animals. Oh yeah, I'm not following this thing all the way up the mountain. Game trail. Well, that's kind of nice. If it ever really came down to it, I could just walk in and crawl under this tree that's fallen down. Got all kinds of branches over it for rain protection. This is actually a very pretty spot. Nice place if you're setting up for like a long-term camp. Wow, what a view. This is all spring water. Again, it's exposed. So I would definitely boil it unless I find the actual start of this thing. That'd be crazy. I'll go up a little ways more. Yeah, I'm guessing this thing goes all the way up the mountain, so definitely a good thing to be aware of. I bet this thing gets pushing pretty good when it's in the middle of the snow melt. That's probably how these logs got here. Ah, mosquitoes. Alright. So I like the idea of being up here on the mountain a little bit. But I also know that there is big potential for both a bear den as well as a bobcat den over here. That's one of the things that me and my brother do, is we kind of keep a track of how often we see certain animals on our property, and we kind of try to figure out where they actually stay. I know for sure I'm within, I don't know, maybe 500, just within about 200 yards of a bobcat den. I accidentally found that one, but I try not to get too close. Bobcat's not going to be as scary, but not fun regardless. Anyway, I think, oh, that looks like a mushroom you can eat, or no, not that one. That's not the one I was thinking. I think you can eat it, but to like trim off the white part. Whew. Right there. I'm not confident enough in that one to be pulling. I've got some ramens in my bag, so I'm not starving. I would go through a certain process to test it if I was, but for now I'm not looking for that one. I haven't really been doing a great job of keeping my eyes open for wild foods. Anyway, see a bunch of wild raspberries, that's cool. It's funny because these ones aren't quite ripe, most of them. I'm guessing because they live in the shade most of the time. The ones that I have at home, I mean, they've been ready to go since end of June, but they never get shade really, so alright, I'm gonna kind of sneak around the backside of this spot here I was looking at, see if I can figure out what was making all that noise earlier. I definitely feel a lot more prepared with my self-defense plan this time. Although, not the right belt for it. See, there's always something I'm learning. Okay. So as you can see, this is like a service path for the electric company, so they can get access to the power lines. Not used often. You just see all kinds of human stuff here, because back in the day everybody would dump their crap up here or come out here to shoot or party. And eventually they put a stop to that. Alright, this is where I was hearing the noise. Yep, by the creek. Right back here somewhere. Question is, do I want to go in here where it's thick, or no, it pools up there. Yeah, so it pools up there. Not impossible for an animal to be back there, but I don't know, the noise I was getting, it sounded pretty big. Have lots of branches to break right here, I guess. I don't see nobody. Anyway. Alright, well, let's see what this place has to offer a little further back out of the way. A lot of this is super dense since they stopped letting people back here. Because once upon a time, this was mostly an open field, with the exception of like the mountain stuff. I do believe a lot of homeless people kind of sneak their way back here to camp out, especially if they're on foot like me. Not necessarily a problem. I'm more worried about, well, I guess I'm not really worried about the bears or the people. I got everything I need. This could be an alright spot. Ooh, I like this. Kind of looks like it was somebody's camp spot before anyway. This is alright. A couple places I could put my hammock up. Yeah, it looks like somebody had a fire here. Ooh, check this out. Okay. Fire. I can put my hammock right here. Might not even have to really do anything as far as rain protection, because it's not going to rain. But also for shade. We're pretty much in it for the day. Right here. Take those off and we can take a look around a little bit. I'm going to look for some animal sign and any trees that are dead at the top that might want to fall on me and get me while I'm sleeping. I think we're clear of that. A couple of dead ones over here, but they've already fallen. Just means to me that you got access to plenty of firewood right there in those dead trees. These are looking pretty healthy. That's the only one that kind of concerns me, but I can't really tell because the sun's right in my eyes. Oh no, it's alive. It's good. Looks like something was rubbing on it, scratching his claws. Yeah, I'd call that bear. Just because of how deep it is and torn up like that. Something got in there real nice. Anyway. So that's fine. I'm not going to have to do a whole lot to set up because, like I said, somebody was already camping here before. It's like a couple more dead trees right here. I don't think that's even long enough to come get me if it tried. But let's see how dead this one is. Oh yeah, dead. Let's try this one and see if that's gonna. That one might want to come down. But if it does, it's going to snap up there. It's not going to be long enough to reach me over there. So, aside from that, this tree is going to catch a lot of it first anyway. It's not a very heavy tree. So, feel good about that. I could also put my hammock over in these trees. A little denser. Probably a little more wind protection. But I think where I'm at, I'm not really going to have an issue with wind anyway. There's a game trail that comes right down to where I'd be setting up. See if I can see any fresh sign. Oh, there's another one of those big mushrooms I was talking about. See, I'm just, what is that? Tarp? Somebody's old tarp that's disintegrated. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if there were like bodies out here. A trash bag full of who knows what. Tuna can. Yeah, someone's definitely been here before. I don't know if there's, maybe they got a camp up here. Maybe I got a neighbor. Ooh, what is that? That almost looks like a certain mushroom that you can eat. Like the crown jewel mushroom, I think is what it's called. But I don't think that's it. That's a weird plant though. If it's, well, it's not what I'm thinking. Never seen anything else like it. The petals on that are like big though, not what I was, not the mushroom I was thinking about. Okay. So this is kind of a wider game trail. Something's been tearing up this log. Probably looking for grubs. I'm guessing this is a bear's trail. It's wide enough and kind of clumsy enough. I don't think it's deer. Just looking for more signs of what it could be. You would assume like you'd see scratches on the tree. It kind of looks like it could be some old ones just because of the way this is like bowed out, right? I don't know. It's been a long time since I was a Boy Scout. This is interesting. Okay, so that kind of take it back. These have all been chopped by like a hatchet or a saw. So at one point this was just like the pile of stuff to get out of the way, I guess. How crazy would it be if there was like a house up here? I'd be pretty impressed. Well, I'm not hiking that. Yeah, not much animal sign, so that's positive. I'm mostly looking for scat, prints, fresh claw marks or scrapes on the trees, and I'm not getting any of that, so that's positive. Did look like something kind of broke up that log across this trail a little bit. That could be anything walking on it with how rotted it was. So, in a nutshell, moral of that story, I think we found our spot for the day. So, I'm going to switch to my other camera, get myself set up, do like a time-lapse thing. But I probably won't post another video till later tonight. We'll see what I come up with and how well I can edit on my phone. But stay tuned. It's going to be a good day.